Malaysian 370, contact Ho Chi Minh 120.9. Good night.
Good night, Malaysian 370.
Breaking news tonight, a Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
From the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live stream, guys. You know what? We're just going to get right into it. It is hype time. We are full on hype, everybody. Just never quit.
Never quit. Go back home and tell Mom, Dad, I can do it. I can do it. I will do it. You're going to be successful. I've seen so many brilliant people. They gave up in life. They were totally brilliant. They were top of their class. They were the best students. They were the best of everything. They gave up. I've seen others who really didn't have that talent or that ability, and they're among the most successful people today in the world because they never quit and they never gave up. So just remember that. Never stop fighting for what you believe in and for the people who care about you. Carry yourself with dignity and pride. Demand the best from yourself, and be totally unafraid to challenge entrenched interests and failed power structures. Does that sound familiar, by the way? The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong. Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label. Because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead.
Boom, guys. Welcome to this stream chat. Let's go, everybody. Guys, I just got back from Contact in the Desert, and I am hyped up. I am rejuvenated. I am refreshed. I am ready to go. That is the most inspirational speech that I have ever heard from President Trump. Never give up. Never quit. The more that the entrenched interests push back against you, the more you should challenge them. The more people tell you something is impossible, the more you should try to achieve it. That is basically the motto of MH370X. Tonight, I want to start by talking about Contact in the Desert. Thank you, Too Close, for that donation. Appreciate you very much. Thank you, everybody in the Pilled and in the Rumble chat as well, guys. So right off the bat, Contact in the Desert, guys, I basically got to talk briefly, at least, or introduce myself to just about everybody that I wanted. Not quite everybody. I missed a few people, but I guess where do we start? Where do we start, guys? Why did I go to Contact in the Desert? Why did I go to Contact in the Desert? It's probably a good place to start. There were apparently rumors about me even the first night because somebody asked Jeremy or told Jeremy Corbell I was here. And he said, oh, why would he be here? That's the rumor, at least. So why was I at Contact in the Desert? It wasn't to harass Ross Coulthart. You got to be kidding me. No, it was to just network. It was to meet the people that have been following me and to connect with other people that I might be able to do podcasts with. People like Richard Dolan, for example, who I got in touch with. And I had a great time. I had a great time. I would say that the people that I liked the most I think I liked Chris Ramsey the most, clearly. I mean, you guys saw the videos. I was enamored. He was out just doing street magic one night, like all night, like a ton. So let's start with Chris Ramsey then. That's a good spot to start. So I ran into Chris Ramsey a few times, introduced myself to him, what have you. And I didn't know that he was a magician. So I found out that he was a magician. I found out he had like 7 million subscribers on YouTube. I had no idea. And so I asked him like, oh, do you like actually what can you do magic? And so next thing I know, he's doing magic tricks. And he was really, really good. Like straight up, street magic. So the first thing he asked me, he goes, I want you to think of something at the convenience store that's between $0 and $1. Imagine it. Imagine that item. I imagined a Hershey's chocolate bar. Now, in today's day and age, a Hershey's chocolate bar is like $2.50. But when I was younger, it was under $1. Okay. So, and he said, think of any price you want between $0 and $1, $0 and 99 cents. So I thought in my head, okay, 13 cents, something really random. So he shakes his pocket. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, no, he's not going to do what I think he's about to do. Shakes his pocket a couple times, puts his hand in his pocket, turns out his pocket and opens his hand. And there's just 13 cents in his hand. Bravo, Chris. Bravo, sir. I loved it. And then you guys probably saw the other clip. In fact, I think I can pull it up here for you guys. You guys can just watch. So Pat, I ran into Pat from Vetted Podcast as well, and he recorded this. He's actually good. Like these guys are really good at like just production in general. Very, very impressive stuff. Yeah, I'll just go full screen.
King of Hearts.
Hey.
Okay. So this was great. So if you guys are, so what was going on here was that before this, Chris Ramsey had me pick literally any suit I wanted, suit, and then any card I wanted basically. And he kind of was doing a thing where like, pick something you like or whatever. So I was thinking like maybe he's guiding me towards something. So I just picked the King of Hearts. Whatever. And so then he just says my name right here.
King of Hearts.
ASH.
I don't think he knew how to spell my name. Like I think he goes AS and I'm like, he doesn't know how to spell my name. He's gonna get the trick wrong. I was like, oh, he thinks it's like ASTON or something like that. So that's why he like paused there temporarily.
T-O. What'd you say? King of Hearts.
What the fuck? What the fuck, bro?
You even spell my name correctly. You could have spelled my name wrong. You could mess up the
Bro,
Keep filming.
how did you do that?
Okay.
Cut the deck anywhere you like.
How does he do this?
Cut the deck.
Okay.
Put that on top.
Okay.
You know what? Do it behind your back so I can't see what you're doing. Do it behind your back.
Okay.
Let me know when
You want me to cut it again?
Cut it again.
Cut
anywhere
it
you
again.
like.
Okay.
Okay, cut it again.
You got it?
Okay.
Okay, when this is going on, guys, I was just literally cutting it behind my back like as many times as I wanted. I think I cut it like 3 or 4 times. I'm like, okay, I'm just cutting it back and forth randomly behind my back. So as far as I know, the cards are completely random behind my back.
Yeah, I cut it.
Yeah.
One more time.
Well, just for say,
Oh, man, I love
Done?
it. Yeah.
All right. Keep it that way. Take the top or the bottom card.
Okay.
And put it in your pocket. Don't look at it.
Okay.
Okay, so people don't even know. Like, I'm the only person that even knows. I took the card off the bottom. I could have taken the card off the top. I just decided to take the card off the bottom, and I put it in my pocket.
At this point, no one knows what that card is.
Nobody knows.
No.
Not you, not him, not me. There's no way we can
No,
know.
there's no way.
No.
Shuffle deck.
Yeah.
Is that a shuffled deck?
Yeah. Yes.
I
Yes.
randomly picked a card.
No,
from
it's
my pocket,
shuffled.
100%.
All right. You use a black card or a red card?
I have a feeling it's a red card.
You're feeling it's a red card. You feel it here?
Yeah, I feel it right here.
Oh, in your heart.
Yeah, it's weirdly, yeah, right there.
So like a heart?
Like a red heart?
I'm afraid it might be a heart. It feels
Okay, a
like-
heart.
Yeah,
What's like a strong value heart card?
probably a big one, like maybe like a king.
Well,
Maybe.
you just said king of hearts.
Oh, okay, queen maybe then.
Queen or maybe an ace.
Yeah, ace would be a big
You think
one.
ace is high or low? What do you think?
Ace is high generally for me.
So ace would be higher than king.
Yeah, it would be higher.
The ace of hearts.
Yeah, ace hearts would be higher.
No way.
No.
That's impossible. What the fuck?
I swear, I'm not on this joke. I'm whatever this trick is.
You
I'm
put
not-
that card back there,
I
right?
put it on my. I took the.
I saw
bottom card
you.
off
I
after
saw you. Wait a second, dog.
Wow. Okay.
What the fuck, bro?
I'm muted. Chat. I'm watching it, and even I'm struggling now. I was there. I'm the one who cut the cards, and I still don't get it. I assumed he must have switched the deck out. He must have given me one that was all ace of hearts. That's the only thing I could assume. I don't know how he did that one. So he was really good, guys. Like, he was doing tricks like crazy. So I recorded a couple others, but I didn't feel comfortable like posting them because, it's a magician. And I told Chris as well, don't tell me the answer. I don't want to know the answer. Like, I like the mystery that's involved in it in terms of like just trying to figure it out and wonder how he got the best of me. So, and one last thing I'll say on Chris is that he also did a variant of one of those tricks where he did with the orbs. I was standing by and he was like, oh, this is called a variation. And then he goes, and now you have these three things spin around it. Then boom. And then like the card disappeared. It was really good. Yes. Okay. So let's switch to that thing. And I'm going to talk about Ross in a second as well. So, Chupa says, Ashton, were people asking questions about you in the Q&As? They did definitely ask in the Jesse Michaels one. So on Saturday, I joined the Jesse Michaels. It was just like basically a Q&A session. And the third question in, I saw Dominic up there. And I knew because Dominic had come up to me, introduced himself to me, very smart guy, knew his stuff, new MH370 stuff. And he was telling me how he's like asked all these questions of all these top UFO people. And so when I saw him up there in line, I was like, there's a good chance the question is going to be MH370 related. What I was not ready for was for him to say something about your friend of me, Ashton Forbes, blah, blah, blah. And so is that him? There he is. There he is. The man himself right there. That's the man right there that asked the question. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it. So he went up, he asked, friend of me, Ashton Forbes, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of just stood up because I was in the back row and, I said, we're cool. And just kind of made a joke. And so then, Jesse said something about, like Jesse and I are cool. I mean, I've got nothing against Jesse. But, he runs he's friends with like everybody that like hates my guts. That's just the reality of the situation. And so I left because I don't know, I was doing other things and it was a little bit awkward. I was like in the room. So somebody else apparently asked a question later on though, as well. And I know because I was wandering around and I ran into Jesse and Chris up in the hotel. And Jesse said that he told me somebody else asked another question and that Jesse's response was like medium, like basically saying, I can't say those videos are fake. Which was kind of weird, kind of awkward, but whatever. But this is what I want to say, guys. What did I learn from the conference? What I learned is pretty much that we are above and we're past all this shit now. I really asked myself, why am I even connected to the UFO community? Why am I even connected to the UFO community? Right? I'm not even saying anything about aliens. And I'm just talking about orbs that teleported a plane, but I'm saying the United States military. It's the United States military doing that. Well, the answer is because as we're about to find out today in the second half of this stream, all the engineers that built the orbs are somehow connected to this UFO phenomenon. They're the same physicists and engineers that are sitting front and center in these UFO hearings. So it's not that I want to be part of the community. It just turns out that the answer to our case is directly connected to the UFO community. I don't know exactly what it's going to mean overall, but the people involved in the UFO community, researching these UFOs, writing these Bigelow Aerospace documents, they're the same people I've identified as the people who've built the orbs. What I learned from interacting with people, and what I want to say is what I did was I essentially said, I'm going to go up to every person that I recognize that I know has said something mean or doesn't like me or whatever. Just go right up to them and just introduce myself. Not be antagonistic, but just introduce myself and say, hey, I'm Ashton Forbes. And just let you know that who I am or what have you. And so I got to do that to a lot of people, including Jeremy Corbell. And I think it was very telling to reveal their personalities and who they are, who they really are. I'm the kind of person who, I would help my enemy. I'm the kind of person that would help my enemy, that even if I don't like you, I would still help you just because. That's the kind of person that I am. And I think that I learned that everybody there is pretty much exactly what we expected they were. I don't think that any of these people that I met in that weekend were disinformation agents. I don't think they have that in them. I get an impression of community when I was at Contact in the Desert. The people there know each other. They're a community. They've been doing this. They've been looking into this for many years, decades. And I think that, they've been looking for the truth in this. And I think that what we represent is a new, fresh set of eyes, a new guard coming in. And so there's going to be friction there. And I think that a lot of them are just stuck in their ways. It's kind of like the old get off my lawn, or like, your music sucks, my music's great. It kind of feels like that. It feels like a situation where it's not that people are disinformation agents or what have you. It's just that they're all doing their own things and they're all in their own little worlds. And there's all these cliques like middle school and high school everywhere as well. That's kind of what it feels like. And some of them are absolutely being guided by their sources, which are intelligence sources, right? I mean, the people pulling the strings were not at this. The people that were at Contact in the Desert were the people that are getting their strings pulled. It's like Danny Sheehan's the lawyer of a lot of these people. Is he knowledgeable? Absolutely. In fact, I really like him. But he's not the people pulling the strings. The people pulling the strings are the Hal Puthoffs, the Eric Davises, the Jay Strattons of the world. Those people aren't at these things. So, I don't think it's fair to call them puppets or anything like that. And I don't think that's really a fair characterization either. I mean, they're just normal people, honest people, trying to find the answers to stuff. And so I've decided to add an additional stipulation. President Trump at the beginning of this live stream said, we need to carry ourselves with dignity and be our best selves. Absolutely true. Everybody was so terrified that I've sold out or that I'm going to change sides, or I don't even know what it was. I couldn't believe how many people were so upset that I was just talking to these people. Nothing really changed. Nothing changed except for I showed them that we're just normal people. We're not random internet trolls. We're just normal people. That's all. That's what I wanted to show them. Nothing is going to change from this, but we are going to get the United States government to admit that those videos are real. We are going to get them to admit what they did to that plane. And you know what the additional condition is? We don't need to tear down everybody else in order to do that. We don't need to tear down the UFO community to do that. In fact, we're running parallel. We're running parallel to them. And we're way past them at this point. It doesn't mean they don't have value. It doesn't mean they don't bring something to the table, but we've moved way past them. If you think I'm exaggerating, just keep watching this live stream. You're only 20 minutes in. So that's what I've realized, is that we don't need to tear them down to advance our purpose, to advance our side. Not at all. And so this is what I would ask in return. I think it's a fair ask. Don't get in our way. Do not get in our way. I don't want to have to do what I did to Ross Coulthart. So don't go on mainstream media and take shots at me. Don't go on mainstream media and say that I think aliens zapped the plane. Because if you do that, you are going to get a response from me, 100%. That's a guaranteed way to get a response. So don't do that. And as long as you don't do that, then I'll have absolutely no reason to come at you guys. In fact, I've already done a really good job because Ross is now going viral today. This is true. He's going viral because he's been saying that 2027, everybody, look ahead. People are telling me 2027. I don't know if it's an alien invasion. I don't know if it's an asteroid. I don't know if it's the moon Nazis, but 2027, polls might be getting reversed. End of the world might be happening. Skynet might be taking over. Also, maybe not 2027, maybe 3035. Maybe 3035, maybe 4047. They just keep pushing. But eventually, going to be right. And you know what, chat? It was basically a layup, but I walked away. I walked away and I said, no, devil. You are not going to get a rant out of me on this one. I walked away. Chat, I'm improving. I am improving. Okay. Now, are you guys ready for an announcement? Are you ready for an announcement? I can't even wait. I'm so goddamn excited, chat. The other thing I realized at the conference, from the fact that like I was the big rumor everybody was talking about behind the scenes, the fact that I had tons of people coming up to me, fans talking to, I sat with this very nice young woman and talked to her for a while as well. I realized, holy shit, this thing is not only not going away, but like this thing is going to be the thing haunting people in the background, like haunting people. And, you know, we're just waiting for the dam to burst. Like there's cracks in the wall. We're like desperately trying to hold leaks back. Like this thing's about to just burst, honestly. And what I told my buddy Mike was the moment that this thing goes mainstream, I'm going to disappear. I'm going to be like a ghost. No one's going to be able to find me for a podcast, and I can't wait. And that made me just so happy because that's all I've wanted. All I've wanted to do is get the truth. And we have so much evidence now. We have it all. We have it all. It's just absolutely undeniable. I put in 5 FOIA requests last night to the CIA. I am going to get the Gorgon Stare. I'm going to get their MQ-9s. I am going to get anything that they have on whammy footage. I'm going to get everything. I'm going to get something. I am going to get the proof that they had those drones. I mean, we just have too much paper trail. That's not even the announcement. Here you go right now. I am going on Tim Pool's Culture Wars in a few weeks. I'll announce the exact date. And I was asked, you know, Tim likes to have there be 2 guests. Come on. Who do you think would be good for you to come on the show with? And so I said, well, you know, Ian Crossland would be great because, you know, I've been wanting to talk to Ian Crossland. And they said, well, okay, well, Tim's going to have Ian Crossland be the guest. So I said, okay, well then who am I going to bring for my guest? And I thought about it. I asked a couple people that weren't able to go, including Sal. Of course, I asked Sal, but I couldn't do Sal. So instead, I've tentatively locked in Dr. U from NASA, chat. Booyah! Dr. U from NASA is going to be coming on Tim Pool with Ashton Forbes and Ian Crossland. And we are going to be talking a lot of physics, chat. We're going to be talking the DIRDs. We are going to be talking plasma orbs. We are going to be talking magnetism. We're going to be talking the ether. It is going to pop off. Dr. U, Ashton Forbes, Ian Crossland, Tim Pool. Get ready for it. We are going to be triggering people, chat. NASA scientist, guy that thinks orbs teleported a plane away. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I am intentionally going to make sure I have enough topics that will trigger every single CNN-brained academic out there. Like literally going to go straight at Albert Einstein. I'm going to attack the photon immediately. I think even the first topic might just be photoelectric effect is a lie. Einstein was wrong. We might just start right there. Oh, chat. Shit. Oh. And by the way, in light of this announcement, every live stream between now and then is going to be science related. I've got to prepare. I have got a lot of shit to read. I have got to get even more knowledgeable than I am right now. So we are going to have a massive science grind for the next 3 weeks. So we're looking at probably, let's just say between 5 and 10 live streams before the show. Get ready, chat. Now, we might throw in a non-science related live stream here or there. But if you have been fiending for the last couple weeks because we've been talking about Gorgon Stare and all this other stuff, get ready. Get ready. LFG. Yes, I love. People are excited. It's awesome. I have not hit up. Okay, now let's switch back. Now that we've said the big announcement, Dr. U from NASA on Tim Pool. It's going to be even better than the Terrence Howard, Dr. U on Patrick Bet-David. Guaranteed. I haven't hit up the lawyers from News Nation, and I'm going to tell you why. I probably will, actually, but I think that the whole lawyer thing was kind of just nonsense, honestly. So I got to rehash because I don't want to misinterpret how it went down. So just as a disclaimer, this is just my interpretation of how the confrontation between Ross Coulthart and Ashton Forbes went down. Okay, let me find it. Okay. So Friday morning, I had got in on Thursday night into Contact in the Desert, hung out at the bar a little bit, saw some people, chatted a little bit. Friday morning, I was walking by the pool. We were going to check out, one of the things in the morning. And I looked to my left, and I'm looking in the restaurant, people sitting outside, and there's Ross Coulthart right next to Bryce Zabel. They're sitting together at a table to our left. And I noticed them, and I'm, walking with my buddy Mike. And I see Ross, and, he looks at me, makes eye contact. So I go, hey, Ross, just like that. And I kind of keep walking. And Ross says something. I can see him say something. I can't hear him, but I see him say something. So then I come back, ask him what's up. And Ross says something like, oh, are you here to ambush me or something like that? And I go, no. And my question for him in the moment was, like, do you really think that I'm making all this up? This is what I told him. I said, do you really think I'm making this up? Do you think I'm actually woke up one day? I was like, hey, you know what, guys? I'm going to try to convince people that we got magical orbs that teleport planes away. I was like, you know what? I can become rich scamming people off of this. That's what I thought one day. And he kind of nodded yes, but he said oh, I can't engage with you because of the the lawyers or something like that, which in the moment, guys, didn't really feel like a real legal threat. It felt more like, I don't want to talk to you, so I'm going to make up a fake excuse about why I can't talk to you. But it could have been a legal thing, honestly. Like the letter he sent me was as an anchor. The letter he sent to Scott Roeder, I mean, that's pretty damning. So let me look and see. I want to make sure I don't miss any of the key stuff here. Okay, where is it? Bum, 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 bum. Man, I wish I should have pulled this up ahead of time. Okay. Oh, crap, where is it? One sec, guys. So, one of the things that I said to Scott or to Ross, what did I say? God, I'm already forgetting what I said to him, chat. Oh yeah, I told him that, hey, did you realize that like the guy that claimed to make the videos, Joseph Lancaster, that turns out there was this textures post that came out and the guy had completely made it up. And this post shows that he was trying to like work with the textures website guy to fake the whole story about having made the videos. And of course, he's like, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. That's kind of what he said in response, right? And so, you know, I kind of just told him like, those videos are 1,000% real. And like, it's not me doing this to you, Ross. Like, you are destroying yourself by ignoring, you know, the evidence, the Gorgon stare, you know, everything else. But he wasn't obviously interested in that kind of conversation. And so when I told him, you know, the videos are 1,000% real, that's when Bryce finally kind of chimed in, and he was being very gracious, just sitting there listening to us kind of, you know, talk back and forth. And he goes, okay, I'm sorry, but we got stuff to do. Can you guys go? And I just said, yeah, sure, peace. And then we just kept walking and we left. And I think it was an interesting conversation. There's more in the Discord. I'm trying to do it all off memory here, but it was an interesting conversation for me because it told me that, I mean, yes, there's a chance that Ross is knowingly lying about me. Yeah, I mean, he's at least wrong, but there's a chance. But more likely, I think it's just a matter that he's just in denial. He's just in denial. It kind of reminded me of when I talked to my dad about this stuff. Like when I talk to my dad about this stuff, it's like talking to a brick wall. Like it's just, you can tell he's hearing it, but he's not processing it. You know, he just comes from a different time. They come from a different time. So it was the impression that I got was hurt feelings. And then he's saying stuff like, oh, he said like, bring it on at one point, right? Because I was like, dude, you're destroying yourself. And he goes, bring it on. And I'm like, dude, bring it on. Like, I think he doesn't realize I'm not trying to destroy Ross Coulthart. That's not my mission. My mission and my goal is to get the United States government to admit what happened to MH370. That's my goal. Ross Coulthart's just put himself in the way. Look at it from my perspective. I've got a mainstream media journalist saying lies about me on TV and then writing a letter to somebody saying more lies about me. I'm going to use that to my advantage every single time. I would be stupid not to use that to my advantage. I'm in an asymmetrical information war with the United States government right now, trying to get them to admit an illegal covert operation is real. So you better believe that if a mainstream media journalist starts lying about me, I'm going to put them on blast. And what I told Ross as well is I said, why don't you just apologize? I literally told him that in front of Bryce. I said, why don't you just apologize? Wouldn't that just be, why isn't he not apologizing? He's in the wrong. He lied about the case on TV. He didn't do any journalism. I mean, he didn't fact check his own arguments on when he was talking about me, which, by the way, I don't even care if News Nation takes that clip down. The clip makes Ross look like an idiot. So leave it up if you want. Doesn't hurt me at all. I got more people to pay attention to the fact that I'm not saying the alien zapped the plane. So that's the reason why I don't really care about the lawyers. If News Nation is mad that I called Ross a fraud, well, maybe he should have done his work. Maybe he should have actually talked to me. He didn't do any journalism. He didn't reach out to me for a comment about a story that he was doing about me, about a clip about me. He didn't reach out to me for comment. And then he's making up stuff about letters behind the back. And my question is, why don't you just apologize for that? If I did all those things, I would apologize. Even if I thought I was in the right, I'd probably apologize. Do you know what his answer was? I have nothing to apologize for. That was his answer to me. Right in front of Bryce. You can ask Bryce Zabel if you don't believe me. I have nothing to apologize for. Wow. So, told me I have nothing to apologize for. I'm like, bro, the letter to the letter to Scott Roeder is enough to apologize for alone. The clip you did about me on News Nation that's just wrong. It says Ashton doesn't have adequate responses for these debunks. What? You didn't even reach out to me. Didn't even reach out to me. All I've wanted is to talk. That's it. Just talk. Like, what are you so afraid of? Just talk to me. The first thing lawyers are going to do is make us talk. The very first thing you do when there is a legal dispute, a civil claim, is you have mediators come in the room and make the sides come together. I've been trying to make the sides come together. It's not me trying to stop that from happening. So, later that night, I did not interact with Ross again. That was the only time I interacted with Ross. And I felt like I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable. I was not there to press people. I was there to network and to chill by the pool. That's why I was there. And that's what I did. But I did see Bryce a few more times, and he seemed like a cool guy. And even if he wasn't, I still would have gone up to him and said hi anyway. So I saw him at the bar, went up and said, hey, I'm really sorry about what happened, man. I didn't want you to, be in the middle of that, blah, blah, blah. And Bryce was actually super cool, really cool about it. Like, he could have, popped off, got heated about it. But no, instead he was like, yeah, that sucks. Like, situations get heated. Like, I think sometimes we just got to bring it down a little bit. And he ended up coming up to the room. I think we had a shot. Ended up talking a little bit. We got to clear the air, or at least I got to say my side of the story about like, hey man, I'm just a normal guy, and like I got put in this crazy situation, and I understand why people are distrustful of me or whatever. But I'm not here to I'm not here to ruin the community or whatever other stuff people are saying about me. And yeah, it was really cool. Like, we got to have basically a private conversation with Bryce. And, at the end, it was like, it wasn't a situation where like, oh, we're going to resolve this all right now. Everything's roses right now. Because that's unrealistic. It was like, hey, if you're able to just lower the temperature a little bit, maybe wait a few months. And then Bryce was like, I would go on your podcast. I didn't even ask him. I was like, well, okay. I didn't mean that, but like, thank you. But I did just like the idea of like, hey, yeah, let's just chill a little bit. Let's just not be at each other's throat for a little bit and just see how things go. And the reason why I liked it is because I already kind of see that this is inevitable. We're like Thanos at this point. Like, this thing's going to happen. So let's not try to break people's minds any faster than they need a break. Let's just let this thing play out the way it's going to play out. So I agreed, and yeah, that's basically it. So when I said that I'm going to take it easy on Ross, that's what I mean. And this does not mean I'm not going to criticize people. Chat, you know me too well. It just means I don't need to take cheap shots, right? Like, just for example, I had this queued up. I had this ready to go. This is a joke.
Suggested to me that left-handed gay men are particularly good at it. Left-handed gay men.
Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. Glass ceiling? Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. Never gonna happen, sweetie.
Okay. That one would have been over the line. But just to remind you, that was a joke. I do not support bigotry or any of those things, or racism or anything like that. And I respect women. And I believe that women have just as much psychic powers as men do. Guys, I am not sexist. I am not a misogynist. The people that think that women don't have as many psionic powers as the left-handed gay men, y'all need to get right with Jesus. Y'all need to get right with Jesus. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Men win again, chat. It's a glass ceiling. It's a ceiling made of bricks, chat. You will never have psychic powers. You will never have psychic powers, chat. Okay. Okay, what about Contact in the Desert? What were some other highlights? Richard Dolan was probably another one of my highlights, guys. Guys, okay, calm down, everybody. Calm down. But Ross knows now we let him off easy. I had memes ready to go for like a week. That's not even all my Ross Coulthart memes. I had more Ross Coulthart memes ready to go. Chat, do not get into a meme war with MH370X. It's like never get a land war with China, never get into a meme war with MH370X. It is a no-win proposition. It's like trying to get into an orb war with the United States or the CIA. You are never going to beat the CIA in a magical plasma orb war. You are never going to beat MH370X in a meme war. Just ain't going to happen. Jeez, what do you guys think you are, 4chan? No. Okay, the last thing is Richard Dolan. I got to check out his USO, which is underwater submersible object. That's like the UFOs, but for underwater. And he actually had some pretty interesting cases that he had researched that talked about plasma orbs. Plasma orbs were actually, let me look at my phone. I had some pictures of them. I'll read it off to you guys. And then we're about to get into some science for the second half of this bad boy. Okay, where were they? Here they are. So in 1951, object rises from the ocean, ascends rapidly to 10,000 feet. Craft displays changing colors surrounded by plasma mist. Wow. Plasma mist. So now when I see plasma, I'm like, plasma, yes. Plasma is the secret to everything. And then the other case he had was a Bermuda Triangle case from 1971. The object shut down all ships' communications. And he said, oh yeah, there was radar issues as well. I think this one, glowing sphere. July 2nd, 1971. Crew witnesses a glowing sphere. The thing about those dates, the 50s and the 70s, they built the orbs in the 2000s. Like, I've got it nailed down. We're about to look at the papers. They've got it nailed down to building the orbs in the 2000s. So how were the orbs flying around in 1970s and the 1950s? This is why I think there probably is more to this than just the United States government building it all. Do I know if it was ETs? No. Or were they aliens or all the other million options? No. But they've definitely figured it out. So anyway, sorry, I was just thinking of something. I was thinking of this Tim Dillon. Is this it? Oh yeah, this is it. Okay, wow. It's funny. I just randomly ran across this. What's her name? Leonardo James or Johnny follows me, and I was randomly thinking about this Tim Dillon clip earlier today because I was DMing her. Check this out.
I'm giving you a couple different things. Anything that has to do with aliens and space, I want to know what the hell's going on.
And here's why. And by the way, and this is not to insult you.
Yes.
That is the conspiracy for stupid people.
Aliens?
Aliens. It's just under ghosts in terms of what dumb people want to know about. It's the thing.
You see people, you see Air Force people talking about it.
When aliens or ghosts come up, dumb people's eyes bulge out of their head. They go, yes, it's my time. You know why? Because we don't know shit about shit. We have these other ones affect our lives. We know the people. As you said, they should be brought to justice.
Listen, there was just an alien sighting in Miami. Everyone saw him, bro. Everyone saw him.
I woke up to that in Miami at the mall with the aliens. I go, who cares if it's true?
Do you think we landed on the moon?
Probably.
You can't even stand for something, Tim.
There's no.
Chat, maybe Tim Dillon sent me the letter. You guys think Tim Dillon could have sent me the AI letter, the letter to Ashton Forbes? He's like, who cares about the Miami aliens? He's like, Ashton Forbes, keep doing what you're doing. Fuck the aliens, man. Maybe Tim Dillon just hates the aliens so much that he sent me the letter to Ashton Forbes and was like, we need this Ashton Forbes guy to expose these Air Force pieces of crap. I love how the other guy's like, you don't think aliens are real? The Air Force people are telling you the aliens are real. Well, hey, spoiler alert, everybody. You're about to find out those Air Force people that were telling you the aliens are real, those are the people that built the plasma orbs. Wait, hold on. Wow, those Air Force people were the people that built the plasma orbs. They're the ones telling us that the aliens are there? Literally, Eric W. Davis, physicist for the government, he's got to be the guy that figured out teleportation. Nobody asks him about, hey, man, what about teleportation? No. They ask him, what do you think about how many different species of aliens there are? What the hell does Eric W. Davis, a physicist, know about how many species of aliens there are? Ask the man how you teleport an object from here to here. It's like, oh, well, there's the Greys, and you have the Mantids, and you have the Reptilians, and then you have the Ebons as well. What? That's the person you're going to listen to for aliens? I'd rather listen to an experiencer personally, but whatever. Okay. So there was this leak of this document. Do I have it up? Where is it? Where's the document, chat? A BAASS Bigelow Aerospace 10-month report. Here it is. Oh, it looks like my thing closed. Okay, here we go. Bigelow Aerospace 10-month report. Now, guys, I've now been exonerated because I said I saw this document like a year ago. I didn't read all 500 pages. I had like an hour with this document. And now the full document has leaked, and I said it was way longer than it was, and yeah, it's way longer. I didn't even remember, but this one's 500. I don't remember which of these I saw or how much of it I saw, but whatever. This document just leaked. This document's from July 30th, 2009. Bigelow Aerospace. If you guys are not familiar with Bigelow Aerospace because you're like a normal person that doesn't know about all this UFO stuff, Bigelow Aerospace, this guy Robert Bigelow, he's connected to Skinwalker Ranch. He's connected to Hal Puthoff and all these engineers and scientists. Bigelow's, he's like obsessed with UFOs. He's deep in this stuff. And he's been getting contracts with the government to research this stuff. And so this document is not made up. It's not a hoax or a scam. It's a real document. I know because I saw it way before this. So the question we should be asking is, why does this document exist? And what were they looking at in 2009? 2009 is 16 years ago. That is a long time ago. 16 years ago. So I started scrolling through this document, and it is really long. The creation of BAASS, the organization, the infrastructure. And this is why I said, when I said what was my recollection of the document, my recollection of the document was like an onboarding guide. It was like here's a high overview of what we do, how we research UFOs or whatever this is all about. I still don't even really know what this is supposed to be. And yeah, this is ages ago, guys. Like, this is like after the Tic Tac incident. So the fact that this stuff is all like they researched the Tic Tac and all that, that would imply like they knew that this was United States technology. The first thing that piqued my interest was Project Physics. 2C, progress on 9 committed BAASS projects. Huh. So there are 9 projects that they're doing, and one of them is the physics. So let's look. What kind of physics do you think that this 2009 document, remember, the time of this document is very, very, very important. This document's from 2009. This document is just a few years after all the Air Force Research Lab's scientific papers that we've found. The ones about ball lightning, teleportation, air breathing magnetohydrodynamics, dense plasmas, all those scientific papers from Friday are all from the early to mid 2000s. This paper, this document's from 2009, the end of the 2000s. So what are we going to find, you guys think, when we go look at these scientific papers? What is there going to be in the physics section of this? Let's find out. Page 114. Wow, this thing is no joke, by the way. Contracts for MUFON. So they tell you these contracts. Presumably these contracts exist. Well, well, well. What is this? We haven't even got there yet. Earth Tech International. I know Earth Tech International. That's Hal Puthoff's company. That's Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis. That's what Earth Tech International is. 4 contracts and agreements have been awarded to Earth Tech to provide 12 overview papers of the BAASS technical areas, letters of engagement with Dr. Puthoff, work on directed projects as specified by BAASS administrator, effective January 5th, 2009. Purchase agreement for 24 to 30 position papers that will be based on the BAASS technical areas. I know what they're talking about now. Now I know what they're talking about. That's talking about the DIRDs. That's talking about the Defense Intelligence Reference Documents. The scientific papers that I said are the most important scientific papers on the planet. That's what that's talking about right there. Wow. Okay. Purchase agreement to independently review the scientific papers. Okay. Okay. Let's go to page 114. Progress on Project Physics. Number 1, state-of-the-art evolution of high-energy laser weapons. Now you're talking my language. What else you got for me? Space communication implications of quantum entanglement and non-locality. That's the double slit experiment. Now you've got my attention. Let's continue. Space access, where we've been, where we need to go. Professor Paul Sizz. Keep going. Anti-gravity for aerospace applications in 2050. Eric W. Davis. Traversable wormholes, stargates, and negative energy. Eric W. Davis. Let's skip that one. Skip that one. On the role of superconductors in gravity research. George Hathaway. Maverick Inventors. George Hathaway. metallic glass. These are the dirds. All of these are the dirds. These are the Defense Intelligence Reference documents. These are the papers, theories and experiments for invisibility cloaking. I read that when I was talking about this last week. I was talking to Tim Pool about this. Do you know what the best form of invisibility is? Bending space-time around you like a black hole. That's the best form of invisibility. And that's what it says in this paper. Let's keep going. The Drake equation. The IEC, which is inertial electrostatic confinement for fusion power and spin-off applications, Dr. George H. Miley. Yahtzee! Yes! Holy shit, we hit the motherlode, chat. It's all been there the whole time. There it is. All the dirds that explain the orbs. The inertial electrostatic confinement of George Miley. He was the co-author with Frank Mead on the dense plasma fusion focus paper. The one that talked about the gigawatts of excess energy. The one that talked about using lasers coming off of it for gravity waves and all this stuff. This was the guy. We have fucking nailed it. Holy shit. These papers were not declassified for almost 10 years after this. This was classified until 2017, until 3 years after the videos were published. The videos were published for years before anyone knew these papers existed. And there they are. These were not hypothetical papers that they just were like, oh, we should just imagine what the future will be like. No, they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were building. They literally created a time capsule. They created a time capsule and they wrote all the Black Project stuff they learned. They wrote it into the dirds. They wrote it into the dirds and they released it. That was their way of getting disclosure to us. The Defense Intelligence Reference Documents, also known as the DIRDS, the dirds. Why won't this switch back? There it goes. Holy smokes, chat. George Miley is still alive. George Miley is still alive right now. I'm sitting here realizing there are a significant number of people connected to those orbs that are still alive right now. Hal Puthoff, Eric Davis, George Miley, George Hathaway. These guys know the orbs are real. You show those people those videos, no question, no doubt, they know it's real. In fact, shit, what am I doing? Why am I not playing the videos right now? Why am I not just playing it? Oh my God. Holy shit, chat. You show this video to any of those people, corner them. Show Jay Stratton. Show Hal Puthoff. Show Eric Davis. Show George Miley. Show George Hathaway. You show any of those guys these videos, they know it's real just like that. They knew these videos were real instantly when they saw them. I dare those people to say the videos aren't real. Hal Puthoff, I dare you to say this video isn't real, Hal Puthoff. Eric Davis, I dare you to say this video is not real, brother. I dare you. I dare you to say that all your work is fake. I dare you to say that all your science is fake. I absolutely dare you. Holy shit. They knew. Those are the people that we want to be confronting with these videos. The ones that built the orbs. It wasn't the Navy. It wasn't Salvatore Pais. They were cock-blocking him. Jay Stratton was cock-blocking him. The very first thing I did when I heard that person that leaked that Bigelow document, the person that leaked that document, or at least the first images of it, said that Jay Stratton is gatekeeping And he has been preventing people from getting labs built out. And when I heard that 3 weeks ago, the first thing I did was call Salvatore Pais. I called Salvatore Pais so fast, you guys wouldn't even believe it. First thing I did, I picked that phone up and said, did Jay Stratton, was he the guy that that made sure you didn't get your thing? And you know what his answer was? Yes. I don't have a side in this chat, but Jay Stratton, brother, you shouldn't post anything stupid on social media because I am watching and I am waiting. And I already searched for Jay Stratton. These spooks have wiped themselves from the internet. I can already tell they've got some kind of program that looks across the internet and like wipes any link of their presence off the internet. You can kind of tell because it's like they have like unnaturally no footprint on the internet, no social media, nothing. Gonna definitely find you, brother. Definitely gonna find something that I can use against Jay Stratton to expose this guy. All of these guys.
Heart and soul of OSAP was those technology areas, and the heart and soul of those technologies areas is preventing a disruptive technology.
Now, you tell me what you hear there. That's Jay Stratton you're looking at right there. I've already found one clip. It sounds like he's saying the goal of OSAP, which is what that document we were just looking at led to. That Bigelow document, that Bigelow project led to OSAP that this guy was in charge of. It sounds like he just said preventing disruptive technologies.
The heart and soul of OSAP was those technology areas, and the heart and soul of those technologies areas is preventing a disruptive technology.
These guys are hiding free energy from us. They've got plasma orbs that can fly around in the sky and produce gigawatts of excess energy. Literally would just end the energy crisis on planet Earth forever. And they found out how to teleport things with them. And they decided they're going to keep that from us, that we don't deserve that we're too lowly for that technology. That is actually wild, especially since we literally pay their salaries. Literally pay their salaries. Or at least those contracts are coming from the government. That means that's taxpayer money. Disruptive technology. That's what they call it, guys. That's the gaslighting they do, by the way. They call it disruptive technology because saying that it's free energy doesn't quite have the same ring. So instead of calling it free energy for the world forever, we call it disruptive technology. That's what they do with words, right? Is that you take the neuro-linguistic programming, you take the positive aspect of free energy, you go, no, it's not free energy. It's disruptive technology, y'all. Disruptive technology. What was I just looking up here a second ago? I wanted to show. Oh, yes. Where is it? George Miley. So, let me show this for a second. So, I'm going to read all those scientific papers, and we're going to look at a few more here in a second. I'm going to read, how do I make this go away? I decided to look George Miley up and found out he's still alive. Still alive. Actually, Professor Emeritus at University of Illinois. He's looking good. By the way, these guys have definitely figured out some kind of reverse aging thing because somehow all these engineers are living to like 90 years old and life expectancy is 75 or 76 in the United States. So they're living like 20 years beyond life expectancy. That's several standard deviations away from the mean, I think. But what really surprised me when I got into this was down here. Where is it? Wait, where's the thing? Wait. Apparently, he's into low energy nuclear reactions. How did I... Wait, what's the thing? What was I just looking at for him? Was this it? There it is. Yeah, I was just looking at his Wikipedia. Cold fusion and low energy nuclear reactions. He has a whole section on low energy nuclear reactions. Miley has investigated nuclear transmutations in thin films of metals based on earlier work, supported by clean energy technologies. Miley is also active on low energy nuclear reactions. After his retirement, he participated in the World Green Energy Symposium. During the symposium entitled Cold Fusion, a discussion, Miley reported that he had constructed a low-energy nuclear reaction device that continuously produces several hundred watts of power. What? How is this just randomly in this guy's Wikipedia? Are you kidding me? He's got a free energy cold fusion device? Produces hundreds of watts of excess energy? Literally, like Nathaniel Hanks said, it's an open secret. It's actually just ridiculous at this point. I mean, do people think these, like, this is professor, like, this guy's credentials are unprecedented. Like, you can't even attack his credentials. Like, look at his credentials. There's nothing you can attack about. The guy's like a master expert in plasma science and fusion technology. Edward Teller Medal in 1995. He won the Edward Teller Medal in 1995. He has a PhD in nuclear and chemical engineering as well. And by the way, he's also out here just writing defense intelligence reference documents literally about electrostatic confinement fusion. So, wow. That's wild to me. I want to read a little bit of this one because this one gets me really excited. Like, yes, and I do think whoever just said Puthoff replaced Teller, I agree, guys. Puthoff is the #1 gatekeeper right now. Like, the fact that somebody like this is writing papers for Puthoff, for BAASS, we've figured out the power structure. Like, there's not anybody above Puthoff. I mean, who are Puthoff's friends? If he's got somebody above him, it's one of his friends. Okay. It is shown that an IAC is a unique approach to fusion in that it offers a number of spin-off applications, such as a neutron source for neutron activation analysis, whatever that means, on the route to fusion power. It shows that due to its characteristic non-Maxwellian plasma dominated by beam-like ions. Do you know what that means, chat? That means cold plasmas, non-equilibrium plasma. That's what he's talking about right there. I would not have even understood these scientific papers even 1 year ago. Even 1 year ago, I would not have understood this scientific paper. Now, I don't even know how you can, if you want to believe that blue aliens beam the knowledge into my head, you know what? I might even believe it. But that's what this means. Somehow I know that now. It can potentially burn aneutronic fuels like PB. I don't know what that means. I forget. That ability, combined with its simple mechanical structure, simple monostructure, we might say, and small size, makes the IEC reactor, if achieved, an ideal fusion power unit. Present experimental devices are 4 to 5 orders of magnitude below break-even energy for PB. However, it is argued that the ability to study the physics in a very small volume plasmas makes it possible to rapidly investigate scale up to a power-producing device. As an example, the report concludes with a conceptual experiment proposed for demonstration of break-even conditions using a hydrogen plasma simulation. That is the fucking orbs. That is the orbs. That is the fusion reactor inside the orbs that he's talking about right there. IEC fusion, guys. Memorize it. Inertial electrostatic confined fusion. That is what they're doing with the plasma orbs. Boom. George Miley, sir, you are on the radar. Welcome to the Mount Rushmore of engineers on Ashton's radar, George Miley. You are right in there now. You just shot straight up into the top 10. And then, of course, the GOAT, chat. The GOAT, Hal Puthoff, advanced space propulsion based on vacuum space-time metric engineering. Basically, how to manipulate space-time using electricity. Polarizing the vacuum is electrifying the vacuum, electrifying the medium. Add energy density to a region, create an EMP pulse. Boom. Zap the 0-point energy away. Zap the 0-point energy away. I think there's a few more. Here's metamaterials. For me, metamaterials are cool, but metamaterials is going to be more of like flying saucer type stuff. This one, positron aerospace propulsion, we might be able to produce antimatter. We might be able to produce and accumulate antimatter. That's what this paper says. And if that's the case, we might be able to actually annihilate objects. That's not what I think is happening in the MH370 videos, but this paper would argue that it is scientifically possible. I think there was one more. Metallic spintronics is pretty cool. Pulsed high power microwave source technology. Okay, so this one right here is, how are they going to produce the plasma ball? How do you produce your plasma ball? How about high-powered pulse microwaves? That's pretty much what I've decided is how they're able to, like, that's the input to begin the process of producing the plasma. High-powered pulse microwaves. Maybe even higher than that. So all of these papers kind of just add up to some, you know, the plasma orbs and everything that's in the plasma orbs. Oh, yeah. I mean, it just keeps going. The hits just keep on coming. Friedwart Winterberg. Project Paperclip scientist and physicist. Project Paperclip scientist and physicist right here. Has a hypothesis called the Planck ether hypothesis, where space is not empty. It's basically exactly the same as 0-point energy. Slight difference. Advanced nuclear propulsion for manned deep space missions. Whew. And then there you go. Warp drive, dark energy, manipulation of extra dimensions. Richard Abusi and Eric W. Davis. High frequency gravity wave communication study. Robert M. L. Baker Jr., chat, also known as Bob Baker. And apparently, he used to live really close to me. That's weird. Holy shit. He lived in Playa del Rey? Wow, that's weird. Okay, I lived there like 12 years ago. Robert M. L. Baker. We were reviewing Chance Glenn last week, and I said Robert M. L. Baker is the #1 expert on high frequency gravitational waves, and he passed away a few years ago, or he was. He won a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2011 for his many, many scientific papers on high frequency gravitational waves and what they could be used for. And this paper says they can be used for transmitters, they can be used for telescopes, they can be used for communication purposes, they can be used for a bunch of different things. And one of the papers, or several of the papers that he co-authored, were with Gary Stevenson. Gary Stevenson has been featured on Apex several times. So I think that one's interesting. Concepts for extracting energy from the quantum vacuum. Remember, guys, this thing that we're looking at is from 2009. You want to know the craziest thing? This document, I thought this predates those papers, but clearly it doesn't. I thought this document predated those scientific papers. I thought those scientific papers were written in like 2010 or 2012. Apparently, they were written before 2009 because we're looking at a BAASS report that's talking about them. These papers are even older than what I thought. And here you go. Here it is. This one just explains Robert Forward, how they were able to use these Casimir cavities to extract energy. Garrett Model and Bernard Hayesh's Casimir cavity patent. And then now we have Sonny White. Sonny White from NASA, or previously of NASA, he has his own free energy microchip. This paper is basically all about how do you make a free energy microchip? I mean, that's the idea. What do you need to do to make a free energy microchip? And by the way, in this paper, there's actually a reference to Ken Shoulders in this. Because Ken Shoulders basically was pioneering inertial electrostatic confined fusion. We weren't calling it that at that point. We were calling it exotic vacuum objects, EVOs. There's a reference to Ken Shoulders' work here in this paper, and it says this would be ideal for future research. Ideal. Everything's coming together. Non-equilibrium plasmas, extracting energy from the 0-point energy field, cold fusion, all of these things are tied together. And these Air Force people have been fucking hiding it from us. They've been hiding it from us. They've been gaslighting us about it. They've been gaslighting us saying that space is an empty vacuum. You can't extract any energy from outer space. Okay, fine. Can we add energy to outer space? Oh, yeah. Here was the big rub, chat. This, pay attention. This is what you need to memorize. I was probably wrong about negative energy. They're not producing negative energy. They're creating a negative energy type event. They're creating a situation when there's a refractive index change of the medium. But they're not doing it with negative energy. They're doing it with positive energy. We might be looking at positive energy warp drive. Positive. Why? Why? Because the orbs are being pulled forward. They're being pulled forward. If you produce negative energy in front of you, it should shoot you backwards. But the orbs are being pulled forward. They're producing positive energy in front of them. The positive energy is propelling them forward. When the orbs converge, they create a flash. They're creating positive energy when they converge. They're creating positive energy, which is pushing out all the 0-point energy. And that causes there to be this refractive index flip of the medium. So how are they changing, manipulating space-time? They're doing what Hal Puthoff said, electrifying it. What is electrifying the space-time? What is electrifying space-time is adding a bunch of energy to it. Add a bunch of energy to it. Quickly, rapidly. Boom. Add a bunch of pulse energy. Boom. And for a brief second, everything becomes organized. Everything becomes organized for a brief second. That's what we're seeing. So we have to be careful with negative energy because they may use that to discredit us. So if you thought you were going to get Ashton Forbes on the Tim Pool, Dr. Yu, Ian Crossland podcast by coming at me about negative energy, nah-uh-uh. Nah-uh-uh. You didn't say the magic word. Nah-uh-uh. By the way, I already have the positive energy warp drive paper queued up and ready to go as well. Thank you for the people that wrote that positive energy warp drive paper. It's going to come in handy, chat. Whew. Okay, I think there's like maybe, is that it? Okay, programmable matter. Yeah, okay, that's it. As if we needed more scientific papers after all of that. Okay, let me do some donos here. Pill Chat, Woke and Walked, gifted a cookie. Redacted just did an expose on a whistleblower airline pilot on uninterruptible autopilot installed in planes, likely used on MH370 as well. Certainly could be possible if that was James McConnell, or is that who it is? McConnell? Something. Yes, I've spoken to McConnell. Field McConnell is his name. I spoke to Field McConnell. I spoke to Captain Dan Hanley. I'm not all in on 9/11's conspiracy theory stuff, but I'm not against it. You guys can do and talk about whatever the hell you want. But yeah, it's certainly possible that you can remote control an airplane. I mean, if people are struggling with remote controlling airplanes, I would ask you to think about what year you think it is. We could definitely remote control airplanes in 2000s. I mean, remote controlling an airplane's like child's play compared to what we can pull off. So, yeah, we can remote control airplanes. There you go. Hopefully that's not a big revelation for people out there. Appreciate you, though. Okay, let's hit up some more donos. If only your orbs were eggs, says my channel. Yeah, then Ross would be down. Guido, I believe the agency responsible is DARPA. So DARPA produces contracts in science. I don't think DARPA did the DIRDs. I think DARPA did like the cameras in the Gorgon Stare video, but they don't do the DIRDs and stuff like that. I don't think Ross is afraid of being exposed. That's not the impression that I got. The impression I got was more of just like hurt feelings, kind of, right? Like he truly believes he's in the right. You know, he truly believes he's in the right. I think he really believes that I'm scamming or something like that, which is fine. I mean, believe whatever the hell you want to believe. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Did you hear any of this 2027 stuff? I don't. Guys, I don't pay any attention to that. Guys, we are not going to get taken out by like a meteor. There's no chance of that happening. If you're afraid of a meteor taking us out, and I mean, we have orbs that can teleport a Boeing 777. The meteor is smaller than a Boeing 777 is, and we can teleport that away. So, no thing like that's going to take us out. Apophis is, I think, the thing that everybody's fear-mongering about. Apophis is the asteroid in 2029 that's going to come really, really, really close, like really close. Nothing to fear from that either. If there's a magnetic pole reversal, well, then we're all dead either way. Either it's going to do nothing and we're going to be fine, or we're all dead and there's nothing you can do about it. Don't worry about it. The bigger thing, the thing that could be, it would be like AI, like a singularity of AI. I could see something like that happening, but I also just don't see any point in fear-mongering. Like, what's the point of fear-mongering? Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. We're not going to turn back the clock at this point, right? And shout out to everybody in the Rumble chat as well. Thank you guys for being in there and watching. Appreciate you. But keep in mind, guys, when I was there, I'm not talking about like a lot of weird alien stuff. Let me tell one other quick story as well, is that I met AJ's brother from the Y-Files, Gino. I met Gino. So I went up and introduced myself to Jeremy Corbell it was actually Friday night, same night as the Ross Coulthart incident. Saw Jeremy over there in the corner next to Gino and Vinny Adams, and just decided I was going to go up there. Actually, I called Vinny Adams Dr. Dan. I had totally misidentified him, and I feel really bad about that. So I went up to Jeremy Corbell. I was like, hey, I'm Ashton Forbes. I'm sorry. I think I've said some mean stuff about you online. He made a joke. He's like, who doesn't say mean stuff? Ha, 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 whatever. And then I pretty much told him, like, hey, I just, I want you to know I'm just out here just trying to get the truth for, what happened to those plane, and said something like, what would you still want disclosure if it meant the end of the world? Like, not today, not, a year from now, but like eventually 100 years from now, beyond that. That's what I asked him. And he kind of was like, oh, that's kind of dark, man. Like, he said something like that. Right. And then Gino actually jumped in, AJ's brother. And he actually, I don't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like, I think that they have this advanced technology and the government's hiding it. And that ultimately it's all going to mean that like, this is a big simulation is what Gino basically said. And I went, see this guy, I was like, this guy gets it. That's what this is all about, right? It's that they're hiding this super advanced technology. And the reality of the technology is that this is a very dark answer to life and reality. That's my opinion, at least, is that there must be some very, very dark overall answer to this. And it's not that they don't know. They know, or they have a really good idea. And they don't want to tell us because, you know, we live this sheltered, privileged life where people would not be able to accept that information. So, but Gino did say that he thought the videos were legit. He told me straight up, thinks it's legit, thinks it happened. I don't like how everybody feels like they're walking on eggshells about whether or not they believe the videos. And this is what I tell people. I don't care if you believe the videos, man. And I didn't want to be like going up and talking to everybody and have it be like, oh yeah, like totally believe you, man. I'm on your side or not. Like that wasn't what it was about for me. And so what I kind of realized from that as well, guys, is that we need to become ambassadors. Like a lot of you guys out there, Dominique out there, and others as well, you are very knowledgeable about the case. Realize now that the MH370 videos are never going away. They're never going away. So we actually don't need to be impressing the video or pressing the videos on people. We don't even need to do that anymore. What we need to do now is we need to show people the kind of people we are. We need to show people what kind of people we are. We're the kind of people that believe that orbs can teleport a plane away. And we can also have an intelligent conversation about science and physics and the nature of reality. That's what kind of people we are. The apostles of the four orbs. That's actually has a really good ring to it. It sounds a little culty, but it has a really good ring to it. But that's the point. Is that, and this is what I tell people, let's not be antagonistic about everybody. Why? Why do we don't need to be antagonistic. We already know the videos are real. We don't need to force people to wake up. But if people want to have an enlightened conversation, then come talk to MH370X. You'll have an enlightened conversation that doesn't have a filter, that talks about real issues and things that we are going to face now and in the future. So just like President Trump said at the beginning, guys, be your best self. Try to be your best self as much as you can, knowing that we're not always going to be perfect. But that's what we have to be. We have to be ambassadors for this. And what I told Gino, I sat next to Gino and talked to him for a minute. It was pretty awkward, guys. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. It was really, really awkward in some cases. I didn't care. I think my dad would be proud of me for being the kind of guy that will just go up and shake hands with anybody and talk to him. Because all these guys know Joe Rogan, right? They all know Joe Rogan. They're like friends with Joe Rogan. And now it's pretty clear why I wasn't invited on Joe Rogan. Because everybody in his sphere of influence doesn't like me, thinks I'm a grifter, what have you. So, of course, he's not going to. Because, again, it's all clicks. Joe Rogan's not being told by the CIA. It's just that all the people in his sphere of influence have this impression of me that I'm some grifting monster type person that's promoting a hoax, right? So how do we get around that? How do you break that down? How do you break down that narrative? You show people who you really are. You show people who you really are. A normal person. Somebody that can go out, hang out, have a beer, enjoy some magic tricks, talk UFOs, talk aliens, talk whatever you want. Somebody will hang out with your normal followers who are at a conference that, you know, just want to chill and meet somebody that they watch on YouTube. That's who I am. That's who we need to be. So that's the lesson that I learned. What I told Gino was, I don't think AJ should do MH370. In fact, what he told all of us was that there are only like 3 things that AJ won't touch. One of them is 9/11, and one of them is MH370. It's like the only things he won't touch because it's too dark. And I said, exactly, like, I don't even want AJ to do it. It's not about, I'm not doing this for popularity. I'm not doing this so I can sell books to people. So I don't need a big YouTube channel like AJ to promote me or promote the case or anything like that. In fact, if he was going to do something, I'd prefer if he does it without my input. So he comes to his own conclusions. But what I told him is it's just too dark because it's real. Because it's real and it's not, the aliens, you know, took a car away. It's the United States government has been developing extremely scary exotic technology, and they're using it in covert operations without the public's knowledge. That's the reality of the situation. They've developed extremely powerful exotic technology, and they are gatekeeping the rest of the world from figuring it out. And we are doing some horrific stuff to keep that power. Scary. So if anything, if you want to know what's the end of the world thing, it's not a meteor, or it's not probably even AI. It's not pole reversals. It's what's going to happen when China gets the orbs. What's going to happen when China gets the orbs and the teleportation technology? Then what happens? What does the next war look like between the United States, China, other adversaries in a battle of orb technology, teleporting things to the sun or wherever we can teleport things, teleporting them wherever we want? That's the terrifying thing behind the MH370 videos. So I want people, I'm not gatekeeping the MH370 videos. Everybody can do whatever the hell they want related to them, obviously. But my advice would be tread carefully. Tread very carefully, because it is a very serious topic for sure. Speaking of Duncan Trussell, there was actually a clip. Did I download the clip? I think I did. Right. Let me look here. Oh, I'll pull it up. It's on my Twitter account. So apparently he knows Duncan. It's Trussell, right? Did I say his name right? Apparently he knows Joe Rogan, and he featured the videos actually recently. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that clip as well. And actually, I want to look at a couple other things on Twitter now that I'm looking at this here. Where is it? Here it is.
People say that and there's been analysis of, like, I guess, the camera this was shot with, and people say that this is not fake at all. It is like, this actually is some new tech. These little sweeties go zinging around. If you see those things outside your plane window, kiss your baby, because you're about to go to Never Land.
Wasn't there some scientist on that flight too, or something like that?
I don't know. These little bubbly bastards come spinning around. They're zipping. I haven't seen that footage, and then bam, gone. It's a little bizarre that a plane just disappears like that. Like, surely there's tracking technology on these things. Like, they should have, don't you think they would have been able to find it? Like, what could have happened? How many systems had to fail? Adam is saying.
So when I listen to stuff like that, that's where I'm like, this is never going away. Like, this thing is about to burst, right? Because you've got normal people now going like, okay, it's just a little too much. There's too much evidence. There's something going on here. Like, it's military footage. You're looking at this stuff disappear. Oh yeah, planes can't disappear. People are going, yeah, remember planes can't disappear in 2014? Remember, that's not a thing that can happen. We've got radars everywhere. We got satellites everywhere. We got all this surveillance technology. We got SOSA system. Planes definitely don't crash without us finding them. People are starting to wake up a little bit. They're looking. So we've already stacked the evidence so high at this point. We really don't even need more evidence. We really just don't. Like, just reality is we don't. We have so much evidence. But, there's more. There's actually even more. So let's pull this back up again. So the big thing as well that's recently come up is I got in touch with this guy. Ryan reached out to me, and he sent me a bunch of evidence, including these models that he had here. This is a model of a real MQ-9. That's a model of a real MQ-9 scaled down like 1 to 400 or something like that. And you can tell that the drone we are looking at is an MQ-9. Now, you say, Ashton, weren't you saying that you thought it might be an MQ-1C before? Yeah, I didn't know for sure. How the hell could I know? I was never comfortable with the MQ-1C for two reasons. One, when you look at the camera, it's got these two cameras that are almost like down a little bit from the wings, like hanging down off the wings, and they're further off to the left and right. The angle wasn't right. The angle of those cameras never really felt right. And people were trying to say, oh, maybe that line you see is not the wing. Maybe it's the camera housing. They kept trying to push that narrative, and it never felt genuine when people were trying to push that narrative on me, because it looked like we were looking at the wing. So once we found out there's a hard point right near the belly, like scrunched in on the MQ-9, and the MQ-9's wings are 10 feet longer than the MQ-1C, I got pretty confident that we were looking at an MQ-9. And I remembered a bunch of messages from some of my old posts where people that had worked with drones were replying going, are you sure that's not an MQ-9? I think about those replies in my back of my mind a lot. I'm going to lock it in, chat. Regis, we're going to lock it in 100%. Final answer. The other drone video is an MQ-9 Reaper with the camera underneath the hard point on the wing, attached to the wing, physically attached to the wing, underneath the hard point, station number 5. This pretty much nails it, and then there you go. I mean, chat, that is wow. So some people, I saw a post on Reddit that was saying it's not an exact match. Well, yeah, this is a model of a drone. It's not like we were going to scale here. Actually, he intentionally made it so that you can see the green, so that you can see how close it is. So this wasn't supposed to be like, oh, it's a pixel perfect match. I don't know what these people are thinking. It is an MQ-9, guys. It's an MQ-9, okay? You want to argue it's not an MQ-9? Good luck. Try to figure out whatever facts you want to figure out to try to claim it's not an MQ-9 Reaper. Definitely is. And I've already FOIA'd the CIA for all of their MQ-9 Reapers around the time period. All of them. Maintenance records, everything. I'm literally going to find everything they've got. And you know what? I'll take a rejection. They want to reject me? Fine. Just going to stack up those rejections. So the reason why you don't see, there's a camera right here where my finger's at, and you don't see it because of the angle of the camera. The angle of the camera is actually, the drone is probably descending and the camera is slightly angled up and to the right. And that's why it's kind of cropped like this. And it might also be cropped, but when I looked into the cameras, it looks like they have 2 different modes, and one of the modes is like a square mode, just like this for targeting. This is a Litnin G4 targeting pod that we're looking at as well. We actually know the camera. My source that helped figure out Gorgon Stare and this camera worked at Big Safari at China Lake. They worked on the project that was testing all this stuff out. So good luck. If you want to go to court about it, I'm pretty sure my source will testify in a court case for probably not that much money either. So good luck. Good luck. The Litnin G4 targeting pod, the one that we're looking at right here, it has to be that one. Why? Because the one after that wasn't released until 2019, for 5 years later. And the Litnin targeting pod actually got an upgrade where it had, you could basically customize it. You could customize this pod. You could customize the color, and presumably you could customize every aspect of it. I don't really know. And it may have been able to have custom upgrades. So they may have had a way to have software upgrades to the camera that were beyond what like the rest of the Air Force was using, which is pretty crazy. So it pretty much has to be, it definitely is Litnin, and it almost has to be the G4 variant of it. So let me scroll up. Oh, and Ryan also found this. So for the people that were the non-believers that there would be a camera under the wing like this, there you go. Let's make it bigger. There you go, chat. This, I don't know if this is actually an MQ-9. This is like a special modified drone, but point being, you can see the wing, right? You can see the wing. This is what the pod looks like. This is what the pod looks like. This is what we're looking at. You know what? We're all in on it. We're looking at a Litnin pod. Northrop Grumman makes it. This is definitely what we're looking at. And the reason why I can tell is because of the angle. The angle, the camera is really high up to the wing that we're looking at in that drone video. You can tell because of where the body of the nose of the drone is. The camera has to be pretty high. It's not hanging really low. And so when we look at this image here, it's like, oh, that's what we're looking at. And you can see it's got this ball on it that can kind of move around, right? We got it, chat. We have identified all of the assets, the real assets. There's no VFX, there's no video games going on in these videos. We've identified the real cameras, the real drones. And by the way, the Gorgon Stare was also on an MQ-9 Reaper as well. It wasn't on something else. Those Gorgon Stare platforms were basically only on MQ-9 Reapers. Could they have been on something else? Maybe. But what I just found out earlier today was there was only like 14 or 18 MQ-9s with Gorgon Stare Increment 2 on them in 2014. We've narrowed it down. This is real. Narrowed it down to under 20 drones. If the official numbers are correct, there are less than 20 drones, and 2 of them were flanking MH370 on March 7th, 2014. The plane was flying like this. One drone was on its side, and the other drone was up above. I mean, this isn't to scale, but you get the idea. 2 of them were in use by the CIA tracking MH370. And we know the exact cameras they were using as well. We know the exact cameras. Litany and G4 by Northrop Grumman, Gorgon Stare by Sierra Nevada Corporation. Booyah. So, what have we realized from this? Well, the media is never going to touch this because they would have already reached out to me if they were going to touch it. I mean, we got absolute proof now. And now we've got we got companies implicated, you know? Northrop Grumman's implicated in this now. Sierra Nevada Corporation is implicated. How much you want to bet the Orbs or Lockheed Martin? That's going to implicate them as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure those Air Force people weren't building those Orbs by themselves. So Lockheed Martin was probably helping out. Let me show this. So I want to read this. I'm just going to read this. This is the details that I just Googled. I was Googling the FLIR, the lightning pods, and it says they're for precision targeting. The design of the Rafael Lightning targeting pod seamlessly incorporates advanced electro-optical and infrared sensors, laser designators, and forward-looking FLIR technology. The pod provides the air crew with an infrared image of the target, featuring a both wide field of view for search operations and a narrow field of view for acquiring and targeting battlefield-sized targets, like an airplane. The inclusion of a data link stands as the pivotal design feature, facilitating real-time data exchange between the pod and other systems, thereby enhancing situational awareness and mission coordination. The G4, this is 2008, integrated several advanced features, including a full 1K by 1K forward-looking infrared charge-coupled device, short-wave infrared laser imaging sensors, color symbology, tracker enhancements, and improved zoom capabilities. Yahtzee, chat! Yes! Oh, that is it, baby. That is it. Fucking go. Let's fucking go. Color symbology could potentially represent the color FLIR that we see, but it could also represent the reticle that we see in there. And then the improved zoom capabilities, guys. One of the things that they've been attacking us on is they've been claiming that there's no continuous zoom on standard FLIR cameras. They have stepwise zoom. Like you press a button and now all of a sudden you're 20x. You press a button and now you're 25x. The zoom we see zooms in continuously like this. How much you want to bet that's one of those advanced zoom features on the Lightning G4 pod? How much you want to bet? And then, importantly, a feature of the G4 is that the capabilities became available in kit form for customization and for upgrades. So basically, you can kit out your pod for whatever purpose you want your pod to be for. For example, if you need to have something that's targeting an airplane so that you can zap it with some orbs, you might set it up that way. So that's absolutely just gigantic, guys. Totally gigantic. Let me hit a couple of the other things I wanted to touch on tonight. Guys, watch the CIA. We've been trolling the CIA. They just decided they're going to be on social media. Watch the CIA release another video of the other side with 3 orbs spinning around, and the plane just like appears, like some 3 orbs are just spinning around, and all of a sudden, plane comes out. And they just release that video just because they want to spite me, because they're like, you know what? Ashton got us, but we're going to get the last laugh. We're going to make him change his name legally to Ashton 6 Orbs. They're like, nah, this guy thought there was only 1 orb on the other side. There was 3 orbs on the other side the whole time. And they just leaked the video just to spite me. There's no reason to leak it, but like they're like, whatever, he's got us. He figured out the orbs. Just release the other videos of the plane reappearing. Show him there's 3 orbs on the other side. Just ruin his life, make him change his name. You know what, CIA? I'm not even going to let that happen. I am hereby accepting the name of Ashton 6 Orbs. We're accepting it. I might legally change my name to Ashton 4 Orbs or 6 Orbs, just to really cover my bases, just in case. That way they can't debunk me on that one, guys. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we're ending with a little comedy tonight, chat. It's open mic at the comedy club. Also, guys, the CIA could have killed me probably hundreds of times by now, and they haven't. So I take that as an absolute win. Personally, I take that as a win. That means that, hey, if you're China or somebody out there, don't mess around with Ashton 6 Orbs. Ashton 6 Orbs is probably being protected by the CIA. Because if I wasn't being protected by the CIA, they would have definitely made me fall down an elevator shaft like 6 months ago or a year ago for sure. They also probably need to work on their PSYOPs, though, because their PSYOPs really need some help. Like, I saw Average Chris talking about, Ashton says this debris comes from MH370, so now he's backtracking on his orb story. Guys, is that what you're trying to PSYOP people with? You got to, if you're going to come at me and try to discredit me, please at least be knowledgeable about the basics of what I'm saying. I have always said I think the debris is from MH370. I've always said that. The debris being from MH370 means the plane didn't crash in the South Indian Ocean. That's a fact. Anybody tries to say that the debris could drift from the South Indian Ocean to Africa in the time in which they found the debris there, you need to just do some basic math. Like literally just do basic math and figure it out. It did not wash or did not drift from the South Indian Ocean to Africa. That just didn't happen. And here's the other thing I want to point out. When you're saying that a plane was teleported, like I am, that means that the plane is disappearing, and it means that it's reappearing somewhere else. That's what teleportation means. The plane being teleported does not exclude a fire in any way, shape, or form. In fact, the plane being teleported, the debris actually supports my argument. Because like I just said, it's too far away from where they say the plane crashed. Where, by the way, we never found anything there either. So maybe at some point, like, insanity is like doing the same thing and expecting different results. So if the plane's being teleported and we found some debris in Africa, there's no logical inconsistency by saying they teleported the plane closer to Africa. They just teleported the plane closer to Africa. Short range teleportation. That's it. All I'm doing is looking at the evidence and saying what story makes sense. So, guys, again, if you're a spook or one of these people who's trying to discredit me, come on, man. Just, can we at least, like, I feel like my taxpayer dollars are just going to waste. Can you at least come up better psyops than this? I'm just disappointed. I really thought the CIA was better than this. Like, I didn't think we would just be like taking down the intelligence community, the entire United States government with just like Twitter accounts. I thought they would at least be able to discredit a Twitter account. But it ain't going to work if you're like saying that I think that aliens zapped the plane away and stuff like that. That's just never going to work that way. So I'm giving you guys some freebies, helping you guys out. Get better. Also, Gambera, thank you for the shades. Appreciate you, Gambera. Okay, guys, let's see what other hot takes I've got for you guys tonight. Hold on. I wrote a few more down. Okay, we'll take a quick shot at Jeremy Corbell, chat. We'll take one quick shot at Jeremy Corbell. So this whole 2027 stuff, like, guys, we don't even need to go at these people because they kind of discredit themselves, right? Like, anybody that's taking this seriously that we're about to watch here, like, whatever.
Your government now wants you to know one truth, and that truth is that UFOs are real. They've already done told you. Sometimes when you want somebody to know a truth, it's so you can set them up to believe a lie. And that's coming. I have zero doubt.
Ooh,
that lie is coming.
Ooh, that lie is coming, Chad. What is the lie? What's the lie?
Specifically, you want me to say it right now? For
Yes.
real?
What's the lie?
On camera.
Yes.
To be put in the show?
Yes, right now.
Okay. Problem with that. If we tell the lie before it's told, they can adapt.
Yes, that's kind of the point. Like, if you tell the lie before it's told, then they couldn't tell the lie at all, right? So why not just tell the lie and then you can prevent them from telling the lie? See, this is where it just doesn't, what I'm watching there doesn't feel genuine to me. Feels like I'm watching something that's produced. Like, why is the producer asking the question about, can you tell the lie, in the middle of them recording? Presumably, before you hit the record button, you had a conversation about, hey, what are we about to record right now? And presumably it was, oh, we're going to do the bit where I talk about the big lie, right? Like, guys, if you're one of the people that's watching that you're enthralled by that, then I got to go ahead and let you know that is pageantry. That is theater kid stuff, right? That is sensationalism. Sensationalism. It's like when you go to Venice Beach and you go to Venice Beach and you walk on the boardwalk and you got a guy walking on glass. You got a guy, doing a headstand and a helmet. You got all these little things going on, and they're saying they're going to jump over 5 people, and we need to make a big crowd, but we can only do it if we have a giant crowd, everybody. We need a big crowd. And then they come along with the money, and they, everybody's got to put the money, put your dollar bills in the jar, right? That's what this feels like. That's what that feels like to me. It doesn't feel like it's intentional disinformation. It just feels like it's somebody out to make money off of the whole situation by dragging it out as much as possible. Because otherwise you would just say what the lie is and you would just expose it before it even happens. Right? That's what I would do. Okay. And I finally remembered to put this back in the chat, guys. Apparently it doesn't default on. Okay, my Japanese friend, who I don't know how to say your name, although it's kind of like an eerie amount of donation right there, but we're going to let it slide. Earth is home to many advanced species. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. Chaotic Good. Show us your orbs. Don't objectify me, Chaotic Good. I hope you're doing good, Chaotic Good. I saw your message earlier. Hope you're doing well. Hope sending positive vibes your way. Chris says, Obama married a man, then teleported the plane. You know what? I'm just going to say Mrs. Obama is familiar with some orbs, let's just say. I don't know. I was trying at the top of my head there, guys. So that's the best I had. Dobby with a throbby. Thank you very much. When I'm president of the United States, I will outlaw Reddit brain. Anyone diagnosed with Reddit brain will be arrested and forced to run on a giant wheel and generate free energy for the country. This is very relevant, chat. Chat, I followed my first streamer today. I did not expect this. I am not really into the streamers worlds or whatever they call themselves, the VTubers or whatever. But I did follow one here today. Here it is. His name is Asmongold. Zach. Zach says, does this mean that we get to put all the Reddit? Does this mean that Redditors are going to jail now? Zach, I certainly hope so, sir. Finally, chat. Somebody that understands me. Somebody that gets us. Yes. Send the Redditors to prison. Finally, the world can heal. Finally, we can heal a little bit, guys. Wow. So anyway, instantly followed Zach. Big fan already. You know, so we can, I think that honestly putting them on treadmills and having them produce our free energy is probably even better. Okay, so everybody has been asking me about the Buga sphere found in Colombia, and they've been asking me, do I think that it is the orbs, inside the orbs? I'm going to go ahead and say I'm about 99% sure that it is not what's inside the orbs, but I can't rule it out. I don't yet know what it looks like inside the orbs, but I'll go ahead and say I don't think that what's inside the orbs needs to be spherical. It does not need to be spherical. It's probably some kind of elongated device, I would imagine, like this. But I could be wrong. If the Buga sphere was the orbs, I would say you would cut it in half and look at what's inside there, because the orbs are going to have mechanical stuff going inside of them. If you were to cut open those orbs, cut them in half, you're going to find something that looks human on the inside, like a piece of equipment on the inside of that. So I don't know, but there definitely are orbs flying around there, and there might be multiple different kinds of orbs. There might be plasma orbs like that. There might be metal orbs. I don't really know. All I know is that we definitely have the plasma orbs that the Air Force Research Labs has figured out, that we reviewed last Wednesday, and then we looked at the scientific papers on the BAASS report today. Benny Hillman says, it could be that the masses have more power than we ever made to believe, but not if we are suppressed, diverted, and pitted against one another to keep us from recognizing our true power and purpose. Exactly. Exactly, Benny. Thank you very much for that donation. Bees says, 4 orbs community knows Tic Tacs and plasma orbs. It also says CIA definitely has some 4 orbs stands with it. Yeah, I think they do. I definitely think there's some 4 orb stands in the CIA. Peter James says, what's your comment on the mini flying orb by your face in the last stream? Yeah, that orb was just a bug, guys. That was just a bug. It's summertime in Minnesota, and I have a screen door like 10 feet away from here, and they sometimes get through the screen door. In fact, my counter sill is filled with little tiny little gross bugs that somehow can't get through that window. So you were looking at a bug there. I saw the little thing with the orb or whatever. Just a bug. Don't worry about it. But thank you very much for that donation. Complizzier, thank you very much, brother. And then MWB1111 or LL1, $5 donation. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, we got a lot going on this week. Make sure you come and check out the podcast I'm going to do tomorrow with the conspiracy podcast, my buddy Dave and Ollie and those guys. I went on their show a lot in the past. It's Dave's last week on the conspiracy podcast. So I'm going to join and talk to those guys. I've also been, we're working on something with InfoWars. InfoWars has reached out. They want to talk about 0 point energy, things like that. So working on that behind the scenes. A lot of amazing stuff coming, guys. There's even more stuff that I haven't been talking about that I hope to be able to discuss in the future with you guys. But you know, in the meantime, thank you everybody out there for watching. Thank you everybody else for supporting. And let's talk on Wednesday. We're going to talk about some of those scientific papers, and we're going to dig into them. I'm thinking the one that we're going to talk about on Wednesday is going to be quantum communication, non-locality, faster than light communication, and the double slit experiment. I've got an interpretation ready. I think I'm ready to answer the question of how do you resolve the double slit experiment? So thank you guys. Peace out, MH370X. Let's talk on Wednesday. Later, everybody.
Out in the fields where the skies are wide, talking about a journey through the cosmic ride. Einstein and Thorne, they set the stage for a trip through time across the space age. Wormholes connect distant points in space, traversable paths to a far-off place. No black holes pull, no crushing weight, just a cosmic tunnel to a distant gate. Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Bowling 777 through a wormhole flow. Exotic matter, negative energy's the key to stabilize the wormhole for you and me. Quantum vacuum squeezed so tight, creating conditions for this wondrous flight. Static fields and lasers in the lab they play, generating forces in a new kind of way. Gravitational squeezing, Casimir's force, negative zones we need to stay the course.
Talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
Thin shell formalism plates so fine, spherical geometry we realign. Energy conditions that we must defy. For a stable wormhole, let's give it a try. Unknown forces balancing the plate, creating the throat, open the gates, from Earth to the stars in a single bound. A shortcut through space profound. Engineers and dreamers hold the key to future worlds and what we could be. With science in hand, we forge ahead through the cosmic paths that we now tread.
We're talking wormholes, stargates, negative energy, travel through the cosmos, it's our destiny. MH370, where did it go? Boeing 777 through a wormhole flow.
From the fields to the stars, we break the chains. Understanding the universe, we make the gains. Lil Hula Crunk shines, bringing truth to light. Through his music, we'll explore the night. With wormholes and stargates, our path is clear. Explore